and I like to be on time, as same way you guys were here on time. So this will be recorded, and the fact that it's going to be recorded, that will be recorded. Whoever is late, they can request the recording. So whatever they missed, they can watch it. And whoever is organizing this webinar can share their recording with whomever they feel that is, whoever they see fit, they can share the recording. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Right here. Okay. And all right. Now, can everybody see the slide that says adhesive dentistry? Can everybody? Please let me know if everybody can see that. It says adhesive dentistry. Yes, brilliant, perfect. All right, so bonding to ceramics. When you think about ceramics, there are two types of ceramics. You have a etchable ceramic, and I'm sorry, let me say this before I keep on going. If you have any questions during the presentation, you can ask them in the Q&A section. Just write them down as they come along. If you have a question, you can write it down, and I'll be more than happy to answer that question as at the end. I am not going to play the presentation like here. If I hit play and then it looks great, I know it does, but this generates a lot of issues because depending on the internet speed, it can lag, wherever you guys are. So I'm gonna play it from here, okay? And that way we won't miss anything. So when you think about bonding to ceramics, you have etchable ceramics, and then you have, or glass ceramics, and then you have ceramics that don't have glass, So which one have glass or silica? Well, you have Emax and porcelain. And which ones don't have silica or glass? Well, zirconia, for example. So even though they're both ceramics, you don't bond to those surfaces the same. So it is different, very, very different. But we're going to talk about bonding to pretty much glass ceramic and feldspathic pore. About bonding to zirconia, we can, it's just glass ceramics. And specifically, talk about veneers. And we're going to talk about a very specific product that is called Choice 2. And you guys should be aware of this because that's pretty much what the webinar is going to be. So when you look at Emax, you have an Emax veneer. Emax is a wonderful product. It's easy to fabricate for the most part. Unlike feldspathic porcelain, that it requires a more finessed skill set. Emax is, it uses the lost wax technique, and then you press it, so it's all on wax, so you can add or remove without too much of a hassle. You can do really thin restorations with Emax, and for the most part, stain it. You can cut back and then add an incisal etch of feldspathic or other type of ceramic. I mean, Emax is very versatile, and it's fairly easy to bond to. So, when it comes down to bonding to Emax, you need to understand that you need to do two things. The first thing that you got to do is to etch it with hydrofluoric acid for 20 seconds. And this etching with hydrofluoric acid, what it's going to do is going to generate mechanical retention. That's basically it. It's generating mechanical retention. And that retention is going to help you achieve a good bond. However, you need to also do something different to that. I mean, you need to add another step, which is the application of silane. I particularly I am not a fan of silane substitutes or silane containing products. I always say that, and I'm not saying those products don't work, but I am a big fan of optimizing bond. I believe, and this is based upon my job here at Bisco. You know, I am the manager of clinical research here. So my job is to optimize the bonding procedures for clinical applications. So, you know, as long as I don't find something that will be better than silane in the lab, I am not going to stop promoting silane. And silane, pure silane, is the best material to achieve the most optimized bond to Emax or feldspathic porcelain. So you can go different routes with this. You can, this is fairly simple. You try it in, you clean it, you etch it with hydrofluoric acid, and then you apply silane. That's very, very straightforward. You know, in some countries, and I don't know if, you know, where you guys are from right now, if the lab is going to do the etching for you. You know, and here in the United States, in parts of Europe, a lot of labs will do the etching. So once you receive the etched veneer, what you should do is to apply the silane before you try it in, okay? And even though this might sound counterintuitive because, you know, you apply the silane and then you leave it there and then the next day you try it in, are you going to contaminate that? No, you're not. You're going to be fine, okay? But because people are not, they feel uncomfortable doing that, some do anyway, I will recommend that you try it in, do the adjustment, you know, determine the proper fitting, and then clean it, you know, remove all the saliva, and then do your etching with hydrofluoric acid. Now you're going to etch, you're not going to etch longer than that. Emax, you can etch it in 20 seconds. It's fairly simple, all right? Etch it 20 seconds, silane. A lot of people like, you know, they use warm silane, work better. Well, you're not going to make it work better. You're going to make it work faster. Not better, but faster. So it all depends on which part of your bonding procedure, your cementation procedure, you're going to treat the restorations, the veneers. So usually what I did when I practiced, and I did practice for 20 years, whenever I was going to do a veneer, what I did was I etched, I tried it in, and then I etched, rinsed, cleaned, dry, applied the silane, and then went to the tooth, you know, isolation, whatever. And then after that, I did the bonding to the tooth and then delivered the veneer. Silane needs to stay on the surface for about 3 to 4 minutes, at least, okay, at least. So for it to react, you know. By the time you apply the silane and then you go to the tooth and you isolate, apply your bonding agent, you know, your etchant and then your bonding agent and so on and so forth, it's going to be more than 3 minutes. So you're good. Now, if you do your bonding prior to treating the surface of the veneer, and then by the time you apply the silane, you're going to need heat to make it happen faster, to catalyze, right? Heat is a catalyst. So the reaction is basically accelerated. That's it. But it's not better. It's just, it's faster. So it all depends on, right? Absolutely. Tell me that it's meant. If you want to work faster, when it comes to bonding. Now, if you apply the silane and don't wait the 3 minutes and don't apply heat, you might hinder the ability to bond, you know, the silane to react. But as long as you keep your times in place and, you know, or if you have a hair dryer, and then you're going to be fine. Okay, you're going to be fine. Very, very straightforward. Very, very, very simple. With feldspathic porcelain, it's exactly the same thing. However, with feldspathic porcelain, you have different etchants, porcelain etchants have different concentrations. So if you have an etchant that is concentration is between 9 and 10, you're going to etch for 1 minute. But if your etchant is between 4 and 5, the concentration, 4 and 5%, you're going to have to etch for 4 minutes. Unlike Emax, where you can use any etchant in any concentration, whether it's 4 to 5 or whether it's 9 to 10, and I'm sorry I didn't put that in this slide, but you got to do it for 20 seconds. That's for sure, okay? So the concentration of the etchant, of the hydrofluoric acid etch, is going to have an impact on the etching time on porcelain, but not on Emax. Not on Emax. It's not a problem. As long as you do it for 20 seconds, you're good. You're going to be fine. Now, you're done with that. Now you're going to the tooth, right? Now your tooth, is this possible? Yes, it is. This is my case, my patient. Did I do this every time I bonded a veneer? Absolutely. Well, that's unrealistic. Well, maybe you might think it's unrealistic, but I don't have a super skill set and I learned how to do this. You need to isolate. You can isolate, absolutely. And you got to move. Isolate, you work, protect your surface, you protect the patient. You know, the patient, believe it or not, when you place this and you place it properly, it doesn't bother the patient that much. And you're going to be able to basically do your bonding without any problem. It's going to be easier to clean. You're going to have a better vision of your work. So think about using a rubber dam when you're going to do a veneer cementation procedure. It's very, very important because you need to isolate, you need to control everything, all right? So when you look at different silanes out there, and we're gonna get to talk about, you know, a specific product, which is Choice 2. It has a silane, you know, and then you start seeing all these different products that have silane inside, and they're called, you know, silane substitutes. They might work, but not to the extent of pure silane. Why am I making such a deal out of this? Because people like convenience. They like to work fast. They like only one bottle for everything. And I understand that, you know, that's something that makes everybody happy. However, I don't think that if you're doing a veneer case, 10 veneers, convenience should be a factor. I think what you want to be is thorough. You don't want to be fast. Why are you being fast? I'm pretty sure if you do, even if it's a 4 veneer case, which is fair, any veneer cases, you know, is smaller. Why do you need to be fast? You know, if you have a waiting room of 10 patients and they're all getting veneers, well, you know, congratulations. That's awesome. You know, maybe you do need something to work faster, but in the grand scheme of things, every time I went and, you know, called the patient to do a veneer cementation procedure, I blocked at least 2 hours just to make sure I did everything right. So to me, it's very important. The delivery of a veneer is very, very important. You got to be thorough. So there is no reason to work faster or to look for convenience. And in a veneer, bonding is of essence. Why? A veneer has no retention. A veneer has no, the preparation is minimally invasive. So you're relying on bonding. So why not do the best bonding that you can? So when you buy a kit like Choice 2, it has silane in it, a lot of it. You're probably going to be having to buy more cement than silane. You know, it just works great. So there is no true need to cut corners, okay? There is no need to cut corners. So I don't believe that these things work. I don't believe that, and there's a reason for that. There's a chemical reason. And it has to do that with the fact that when you add silane into acidic formulations, the low pH will have an impact on the silane and it will deactivate it. Okay, and by deactivation, now the silane will not properly bond to your ceramic surface. It might bond, you know, to the cement, but not to the ceramic surface. So now your coupling agent, you've lost the ability to be the coupling agent between the cements and the ceramic. You've lost it because of low pH. And that's basically what happens. You know, low pH deactivates silane, and that's a chemical fact. Now, does it happen immediately? No, it happens over time. It starts to degrade inside the bottle. So maybe the first few restorations that you did with this, it was fine, but as time goes by, it will degrade, and it's not gonna work. And you wanna make sure that your bond to your ceramic is pristine. Okay, that is what you want to do. I don't want to bother you with all the chemical structure that it's out there about, you know, this. Let's not discuss this from a chemical point of view. But I will tell you that there are two types of silane, a two bottle system and a single bottle system. The single bottle system is something that is generated by the company, the manufacturer. What they do is they take the silane and it is pre-hydrolyzed. What does that mean? Well, you put the silane and you mix it and adjust the pH so the bottle is about 5 to 6. So you hydrolyze that silane so it's stable in that bottle. So basically what you do is you just put a drop and then apply it on your surface after you've etched it. But when you have a two bottle system, what happens is that when you mix one drop and one drop, you're hydrolyzing right there. So it's always going to be fresh. It's always going to be fresh. Your silane mixture is always going to be fresh. It's always going to be optimized. You know, it's like eating freshly made food, you know, freshly made bread, you know, a freshly made meal rather than buying something that is, you know, frozen or something or packaged. We're talking about freshly made. So when you mix one bottle, one drop and one drop for each bottle, and you mix it and you apply it, your silane is super, super fresh every time. It doesn't matter if you had the two bottles for a year. Every time you mix it, it's going to be super fresh. So that's something to think about. So what happens is that the pH on a single bottle has to be between 5 and 6. When you put silane in a bottle with something that has low pH, and then things start to, you know, degrade and things start to fail. And this is where bonding, optimization of bonding becomes an issue. You need to understand that. And why is this important? Because this is probably the most crucial part of bonding to the ceramic is the silane. And I emphasize on this, all right? So I want to show you a video of what happens to a surface that has been etched with phosphoric acid, and now I'm going to apply silane to that surface. This is pure silane. And the silane, I'm applying it on lithium disilicate, all right? I etch that ceramic, I apply it, and I'm gonna let it react for about 3 to 5 minutes. Just leave it alone, you know? And after I apply that, I am going to measure something contact angle. My surface should be hydrophobic because the silane reacted with the lithium disilicate. And this drop right here, this is water that has been, you know, we use methylene blue. You can see the contact angle. The surface is hydrophobic. There is a reaction. So now I'm going to use a silane-containing adhesive. So theoretically, this should work the same as silane in the same way. So I am applying the silane to the silane-containing adhesive to the lithium disilicate surface. I'm going to let it react. And then I'm going to measure contact angle. Same thing that I did with the pure silane. As you can see here, the surface is hydrophilic. What does that mean? It means that there was no reaction. It means that it did not work. So there is no reaction between the silane in the lithium, in the bottle of adhesive and the lithium disilicate. I just want you guys to see that. I want you guys to understand that there is no reaction. Your bond is not going to be optimized. Now, some of you might be using something like this, and you may say, well, Rolando, veneers are not falling off. Well, they're not falling off because you etched them. And by etching them, you achieve mechanical retention. And when you achieve mechanical retention, you're going to get bond. They're not going to fall. It's just that the bonding is not optimized. So it all depends on what you want to do. You want to do half-ass bonding, or do you want to do optimized bonding? You know, half-ass or optimized. It's up to you guys, right? So now that we understand the procedure and why and how we need to use pure silent and we need to etch and all of that, let's do a case where we use the product, you know. This is a case of a young lady. She is one of my wife's best friend, and she wanted veneers. Now, based on her case, I would have done ortho. You know, she has a broken tooth right there, an old composite. There is a lot of diastema. I mean, we can definitely help this with ortho. Well, she didn't want ortho. She already had ortho. And I'm like, well, that ortho did definitely not work, or did you not wear your retainers, you know? So, you know, I explained to her the size of the diastema is so large that the restorations are gonna fail there. And she's like, I want veneers. And she was moving out of the country at that time. She didn't have time for ortho, and she just wanted to get it done. So, all right, let's do it. So this is, you know, even more reason to do ortho. She has a very deep bite. She definitely is gonna need an implant right here. I mean, look at this over here. You know, this is not a case for veneers, but she just wanted the veneers, and I'm like, all right, so fine. You know, I told her, fine, I'm gonna do them, but these are gonna fail. And she's like, just go ahead. Oh, by the way, she's a dentist, so we're talking the same language. She said, just do it. Okay. Okay, so this is the upper part. So we have this broken down composite restoration. We're gonna need to prep that. Okay, we do a little bit of smile design. This is before the digital era. So we did a normal wax up, you know, a wax up done by a lab tech. He gave us the prepping guide. And you know, he's a very skillful lab tech with, you know, for waxing. It's just beautiful. So we got our cutting guide, our prepping guide, and then of course we have our impression, our silicone key for the mock-up and for the prepping. So we use a product called Visalis. You can use any temporary material product to do this. And I'm sure if you guys are doing veneers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is not new for you guys. You feel that silicone impression right there, your mock-up impression, and then, you know, you go in, and that will, you know, first it will help the case acceptance. You know, the patient is going to see how they're going to look, or, you know, pretty close, because even though it's a wax up, you know, the lab tech should be able to replicate that. And then, you know, you have also a way to start your prepping, you know, because you prep on top of the mock-up. Never prep on natural teeth, at least not from the beginning. I know that I've heard some people that have told me that you don't need to do a mock-up, you can do directly on the teeth, and that's okay. You know, if that is what you want to do, you can do that. I feel that that's unnecessary, and I've done a lot of veneers, and I have a lot of experience on this, and I found out that every time I did mock-up, my preparations were way, way, way more invasive, and I was able to control. You know, there were some teeth that I didn't even touch, barely touched sometimes. And there were other teeth where I needed to remove and almost expose dentin. It all depends on the location of the tooth. But mock-up is definitely, to me, in my mind, is the way to go. All right? I respect who don't do that. And if that is what you want to do, then that's fine. But that's not what I prefer to do. So this is part of the case acceptance. And you can see the patient is smiling and she's happy. Now, we don't have a lot of time with the patient, so we went through some really fast periosurgery in order to work a little bit with the gum line. And then we started prepping, you know, and the prepping, we used the mock-up, we use those burrs. You can use any burr you want. I'm not gonna teach you how to prep. This is not what we're here. So, you know, you remove the excess material and there you have it. I'm done with the prep. I already removed what I needed to remove based upon the depth of the preparation, and here I am. Okay, those are very, you know, everything is on enamel, minimally invasive, took care of everything. And then we have, you know, these guides that, you know, these are the burrs that I use that give me the perfect, you know, what do you call it? The perfect depth, because they are calibrated. And then based upon that, I check it along with the cutting guide, you know, the prepping guide, and I see that I have enough space for my ceramic. In this case, we were doing Emax, and I have here 10 Emax veneers. All right, 10 Emax veneers, absolutely no problem, ready to go. I'm gonna try them in. And then what I'm gonna do is, first of all, clean the prep, and I use chlorhexidine and a little bit of pumice in order to make a slurry, but you can use whatever you want. I try them in. You can use trying paste if you wish. I already knew that I was going to use a Milky Bright cement in this case, all right? And I am going to etch. Okay, Choice 2 has hydrofluoric acid etch in the kit. Now, the cool thing about Choice 2, and I am missing a slide because there is a slide with a picture of the kit, but maybe it's, you know, later on. Choice 2 has everything you need in a kit. You don't need to buy the hydrofluoric acid etch on the side. You don't need to buy the silane on the side. The only thing that is not included in the kit is the trying paste. And trying paste are optional. This is not something that necessarily everybody likes to use. Some people use water or glycerin, you know. However, everybody needs to etch, and everybody needs to apply a silane. Everybody needs to bond to the tooth. You know, you need to etch with phosphoric acid. There is no other way around it. And you need to apply a bonding agent. Choice 2 has all these components, plus the cement, light cured cement. You should not be bonding veneers using a dual cured cement. You should use a light cured cement. Okay, Choice 2 comes with different options when it comes to shades. You have some Vita shades. I think it has A1, B1, and B2 or A2, something like that. And it also has value shades, which is milky bright, translucent, and something I think is milky opaque, you know, but at least milky bright and translucent are there. So you have different ways of, you know, if you want to increase the value of the tooth, if you want to just make it look a little bit more natural, you can go with the Vita shades. If you want to increase the value, and then you can go with a value shade, that's up to you. But you have options. Most of the time when I did veneers, my patients wanted really white teeth. So we gave them that white teeth, and Milky Bright definitely helped the cause, you know, helped the cause. So Choice 2 comes with a 9.5% hydrofluoric acid, and you're gonna etch it for 20 seconds, not 20 to 30. I'm gonna actually fix this right here. 20 seconds, fix it. You're gonna etch it for 20 seconds. Etch, whatever, as long as it's hydrofluoric acid and as long as you are using it for 20 seconds. So Choice 2 comes with a 9.5. Why 9.5? Because if you're going to do feldspathic, 1 minute, all right? So that means that I'm trying to optimize your time, being more efficient. I'm going to provide an etchant that if you're doing Emax veneers, you're going to etch for 20 seconds. And if you're doing porcelain veneers, you're gonna etch 1 minute. If I include a 4, I'm gonna etch for 20 seconds Emax, but feldspathic, you're gonna have to etch it between 3 and 4 minutes. So it's gonna take longer. So in case you decide to do a feldspathic case, now you have the most optimized etchant based upon the etching time. Less amount of time, 1 minute, 9.5% hydrofluoric acid etch, all right? You etch, okay? Now, if you're doing Emax, all you gotta do is rinse and you're good. If you're doing feldspathic, you have to make sure that you look into the veneer, and if you see these really white, opaque white spots, you need to get rid of those. You need to, those are hexafluorosilicate crystals that precipitated during the etch. So now you need to apply phosphoric acid to scrub it, make those crystals hydrosoluble, and then you rinse it. On Emax, that's unnecessary, but on feldspathic, definitely you gotta do it, okay? But this is something that you visually can see. You can see it, you can visually attest that you have those really opaque white spots on feldspathic. So you need to just get rid of those, all right? And you do that by applying phosphoric acid, just, you know, scrubbing it in there and this, for 20 seconds and then rinsing it. Your phosphoric acid is also included in your Choice 2 kit. Now we're going to add a silane, pure silane. We use, Choice 2 has 2-part silane. Why? Because that way you always have fresh silane, just fresh silane. 1 drop, you mix it, apply it, fresh silane. 1 bottle silane will work. I'm not saying it won't, but fresh silane is always better. So by applying 1 drop and 1 drop, you're making sure that it's fresh and you're ready to go. Apply it on the veneer and you're good. Now you should wait for 3 minutes or apply warm air. It all depends on which part of the workflow you're doing this. I always start with the veneer or the veneers. I etch them, I rinse them, I silanate them, put them aside, and then I go to the tooth. When I go to the tooth, I take care of business. So this case, it was an old case, and this, you know, it's really old, and the patient is, so she for her. In this case, I used, in order to make sure that, so he must viscostat, use astringent in this area, in the anterior region. I prefer viscostat, it's milder and it doesn't stain, okay? And also I've read that, you know, astringent's got some issues with polymerization, so viscostat is what I use, and all the time, right, if needed. So I etch with phosphoric acid. It's also the viscostat, that's from Ultradent, that's from another company. This has nothing to do with the cementation procedure. It's something that you use to control bleeding, all right? So you etch and then you apply your adhesive, All Bond Universal, which is also included in the Choice 2 kit. So everything you need is there. It's conveniently packaged, okay? You can buy all these components separately, but if you buy a kit, or if it should have everything. Now compare your kit, whatever you're using, if you're not using Choice 2, to somebody else, okay? And then you're good to go. Now, after you apply your bonding agent, you dry and so on and so forth, and then you apply your light cure cement. Cool thing about the Choice 2 cement is that the syringe, the tip of the syringe, delivers the cement like a ribbon instead of being like a flowable. It delivers like a ribbon. Now, some people tell me, Rolando, it's too thick. It's very, very thick. You know, it's too heavy compared to others. Well, Choice 2 is heavy, yes. It's thicker in viscosity, but it will do fine. It will flow really, really well. But it's also thicker because it is stronger. It is a very strong cement. It's got more fillers than its competitors. It's stronger. It's a much stronger cement. That's why it's thicker. Now, Choice 2 has this little bottle of something called porcelain bonding agent. The name is not necessarily what it does. They just put that name in there. So what you do is, after you apply your silane and you're ready to place your cement, you apply this porcelain bonding agent, and it acts as a lubricating agent, okay? And when you place your cement and you deliver the veneer, the cement flows a little better, if you know that is an issue to you. However, very few people you know, have issues with this. All you got to do is apply this porcelain bonding agent if you want the cement to flow more, okay? But if you don't, if you're happy with the viscosity, then you're good, okay? Now, yes, if you're using something like Variolink veneer, when you move and gravitate towards Choice 2, you're going to see a difference in the viscosity, and it's going to affect you, okay? It is going to affect you, but there is a benefit of having a thicker cement. Absolutely. And this is going to work just fine. And it has every single component that is needed to properly, you know, go through a veneer cementation process. So after you have delivered the veneers, what I used to do was to tack cure for 2 to 3 seconds. This is very, very fast. You know, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, done. You're done. Now you're going to be able to remove the excess. It's going to be in a rubbery phase. Very, very easy to remove. You just, with an Explorer, just remove the excess. And then you finish your cure, following the manufacturer's instructions. And then at this point, you can use a floss, you know, you go interproximal, pull the floss, never, you know, never pull it down, but just get it through the papilla, and then you're done. And then you move to the other tooth and so on and so forth, remove the excess, and then hit it with a light, and then finish the cementation procedure. You know, whether it's 20 to 30 seconds on one side, 20 to 30 seconds on the other side, follow the instructions. But this is going to work 100% of the time if you follow the instructions. So hydrofluoric acid etch, let's say, right? Rinse, apply silane, 2-part silane. Let it rest. Go to isolate everything, etch it with, apply your bonding agent. In this case, universal bonding agent, all bond universal, right? You're done. And then like your adhesive, come back, add your porcelain bonding resin to your veneer. If you want this to flow more, if you're happy with the consistency, just add it to the veneer and then deliver, okay? Deliver your veneers. Light cure for 2 seconds in the margin, remove the excess. You can use the floss or not, and then finish your curing, and then you're good to go. You're definitely good to go. And it's going to be fine, you know. So, you know, this is the patient after she, you know, of course, we did the whole makeup thing. And this is something that we did with every patient. We went through a makeup session with her, and we got her all, you know, pretty. And that's the after. More and more, what's the term? Aware of their image. Self-awareness is something that is really interesting in people. Some people don't care too much about that, but nowadays, in the age of social media and in the age of where appearance, it plays a huge role on how successful you can become. A lot of people are coming to the office, or at least I was seeing that, and I stopped practicing in 2014, 16 years ago. But in 2014, I was getting a lot of patients that did not have issues like this patient. She didn't have any pain, but she wanted to look better. So it's a huge responsibility. But when you deliver a 10 veneer case, you're delivering health, you're delivering happiness, you know, because she's very happy now. She definitely is loving her smile. Now, I have been monitoring her for the past 6-7 years, right? And, you know, we chat, we talk, and, you know, she's one of my wife's best friend. And the veneers are fine. They haven't failed yet. I'm waiting for them to fail. But if she can get another 7, 8 years out of a set of veneers, I think that can be considered a successful treatment. 15 years out of a restoration is not bad at all. It's absolutely not bad at all. So that was that. And unfortunately, I did put a picture of the Choice 2 kit. I just can't find it for some odd reason, or it didn't show. But Choice 2, this is, and I'm going to just do this here. This is what the cement is. You have these blue and yellow are Vita shades, and this one is translucent. That is a 5 shades. It comes with a hydrofluoric acid at 9.5. Comes with a 2-part silane. Comes with phosphoric acid. It comes with All-Bond Universal, and it also comes with a porcelain bonding resin. Okay, in order to make it flow better. Also, it comes with accessories and so on and so forth. It is one of our flagship products here at Visco. We really, really enjoy talking about it. We really enjoy pushing it, promoting the product. And I am really glad that you guys, took the time to attend this webinar, kind of short, 45 minutes, and to talk about a clinical case where Choice 2 was used. All right, so I am going to stop sharing my screen. And, I got 19 guys, 19 people. Thank you so much. And now it is time for questions. So there is a Q&A box, and you guys can start writing your questions. And based upon those questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them as they come along. All right. So wanted to also thank our friends from Kuwait that helped us, set up this event, and Carolyn Piro, Sobi and Carolyn, thank you for your support. And if you guys, again, if you have any question, this is the time to ask them. And I am trying to look at here, and there are no questions. Thank you for a great lecture, says Carolyn. It's my pleasure. Murtada say thank you. Haba says nice lecture. Thank you. It is my pleasure. I got a question. What do you think about the use of flowable composite in cementation veneers? Says Lamis. Sure, those are the products that were used before. And they will work. I just feel that if you have a cement that has been engineered for that has been developed for veneer cementation, that has been precisely developed for that, why use something else? I think a flowable composite is good for everything, but actually not excellent for anything. Better than a flowable composite. Can you use a flowable composite as a Pitt and Fisher sealant? Yeah, you can. Is it going to be better than a true Pitt and Fisher sealant? Nope. Is it better than any regular composite? Nope. The only times where a flowable composite makes sense is when you want something to flow in a deep area or in a wall or an undercut. That's it. But other than that, as a restorative, it's just okay. Flowable composites provide you with a vast array of shades, sure. And if that is the way you want to go, you can definitely go that way. I don't think that is the most efficient way to go. I think you should use a light cured veneer cement that has been designed and developed for this type of application. All right, here's another question. Oh, I already answered this. I hope I did answer your question. So here's another question. Is it necessary to cure the bond after we apply it on the tooth before we cement? And to be honest, it is not necessary. Not thicker than 1.5 millimeters. Thicker than 1.5 millimeters, you better cure the bonding agent. Now, what you could do, or what you should do, is make sure that you use air to thin the bonding agent so it doesn't interfere with the proper seating of your restoration, which it never happened to me in many years of practice. Never had a bonding agent that was cured affect the proper sealing of the restoration. Every time I hear somebody say that, it's because they were not careful. And then they want to blame it on the adhesive. But I practiced for 20 years. I cemented a lot of veneers, crowns, inlays, onlays. And not once my adhesive that I cured before I delivered the restoration interfered in the proper sealing. Why? Because I was careful. Okay? But in a veneer case, yes, the veneer, you know, the cement and the adhesive all at once. Is this recommended? Not recommended, but you could do it. See what I'm saying? There is a difference. What I recommend is to cure the damn thing before. Cure the adhesive before. Don't cure it with the cement. Okay? What are you trying? What is it that you want to do? I don't want it to interfere. Well, it shouldn't if you're careful. If you're careful. All right? If you're careful. And I never had a problem. All right? That's just my experience. Whenever I hear that, I don't care who it is. I'm like, this became an issue and you want to blame. Oh, dude, you got to be careful. All right, so I answered this one. Let me see. Okay. Some doctors are facing issues to clean the cement after tack cure. Well, what kind of issues? You know, you cure it for two, you're done. That's simple. 2 seconds. You're done. And I can do this all day long. I can do this all day long. It's 2 seconds, not 10, not 5, not 8. 2 seconds. 1, 2. And then they say, I cured 2 seconds. No, they cured longer. I can guarantee you that whoever is telling you, I cured 2 seconds, and this became hard, is because they cured longer. They did not cure 2 seconds. They were not being careful. And this is with any cement. Now, some cements will give you maybe a little bit more of a leeway. Sure, that's because they're not strong enough. This stuff is really strong. 1, 2, you're done. Clean. All right? Sometimes you cannot please everybody based upon what they're telling you. But I guarantee you that if they did 2 seconds, they're going to be able to clean it. What other questions do I have here? Let's see. Does what apply to Emax applies to zirconia? Nope, absolutely not. Zirconia is different. It is totally different. And we will have to do a different lecture. Totally different. Bonding to zirconia is a totally different lecture. So no, it does not apply. You cannot hydrofluoric acid etch zirconia. You cannot apply silane to zirconia because it will not work. Not because you can't, but because it won't work. So now your veneers are going to fail. They're going to fall. So you need to do something else. You need to sandblast and use an MDP containing primer and so on and so forth. And you need to have a cleaner, different story, different lecture. Some Luting Composites company gives a gray shade after 1 year because of containing some material and it comes the gray shade is choice 2. Well, let me tell you something. If choice 2 was turning gray, we will not be selling it. Absolutely not. No. Choice 2 has great shade stability. And it's been published, so you can rest assured that the shade is not going to change unless you contaminate it with something. But for the most part, choice 2 is very stable shade-wise. Thank you for your question, sir. So I answered this one, and I answered this one. Can we place the cement on tooth rather than in the veneer? If no, why not? Because it seems inefficient. You could. It's not contraindicated. It's all on how you want to approach your case. If you want to put it on the tooth because you feel it's going to be easier for you, you can do it. It's not a problem. I just find it cumbersome and messy. But if you find it efficient, useful, and easy, and then you can do it. It's not a problem. It's just that I prefer to put it on the veneer and deliver the veneer like that. I don't see myself putting it on the tooth. And the instructions tell you to deliver the cement on the veneer, not on the tooth. But if you wish to do something like that, if you think it's going to work for you. However, if it doesn't work for you, Tamara, if it doesn't work for you, you cannot blame Bisco or any company, because they pretty clear established taglio of the restoration. What you're saying are things that maybe you've heard people talk about, and everybody likes to do things differently so they look cool. But do you want to look cool, or do you want to be efficient? Do you want to look cool, or do you want to be good? Do you want to look cool, or do you want to be the best? Follow the instructions. You shouldn't run into any problems. Now, I answered this. Here's another question. Can we apply the cement? Okay. They compare it with 3M cement and they say it's more difficult to clean. Well, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I don't find it difficult to clean. You know, and when you say they, is it everybody? I don't know what to say. You know, here's the deal. And I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to be as supportive as I can. Sometimes you can't please everybody. Oh, I don't want to change. And I'm assuming that Muhammad is a salesperson based upon what they say, because he said when they said, he means the dentist. So he's a salesperson, which is fine. Sometimes, you know, we try to provide all the information, the instructions, and some of these guys are like, no, it doesn't work for me. Well, and then maybe it's time to maybe, you know, think about something else. You can't please everybody every single time. I provide the information. I think, I strongly believe that we're better from a strength point of view, from a shade stability point of view, from a bonding point of view, far, far better. Now, if these people are saying, the people that you're talking about, these clinicians are saying that it's more difficult to clean, maybe they're not curing for 2 seconds. Maybe you need to tell them that it's only 2 seconds, not 5. 5 seconds and 2 seconds, huge difference, you know, cleaning wise. They need to be careful. That's it. Maybe 3M recommends 5-second cure and they're able to clean it. Well, Bisco is 2 to 3 seconds. You need to be really, really careful. Otherwise, it's going to be a hassle to clean it. But it's going to be pretty strong. That's for sure. That's for sure. So let me see what else do I get here. Can we, is light cure cement better than dual cure cement in terms of color stability? Yes. Dual cure cement are less stable. Light cure cement is the way to go. It doesn't matter which brand. Light cure cement is always the way to go. Celtra Duo, Vita Suprinity are glass ceramics and etchable. You didn't read my questions to the end. Well, I apologize for not reading your question. You know, sometimes I make mistakes too. If they're glass ceramic, this protocol works. And I apologize again for not being careful enough to read your question, Lama. Next time, I will try to make sure I please you. Emax veneer more than 20 seconds. Is the Ivoclar. So what's going to happen is having issues with the structure of the lithium disilicate, and you don't want to do that, okay? Emax, etching it is very easy. That's why in 20 seconds you're done. Very, very, very easy. Very, very easy. So just follow the instructions. Why do you want to etch it longer? I think that etching it less, it plays along being more efficient, quicker, you know? So just be careful. Long period of time. You don't like the other stuff, you know? The other stuff like feldspathic. Right here. Is used combined with different 0. No problem. And let me tell you what. Cured. And when cements are light cured or use different types of material. Very just fine. When they're dual cured, it's a different story. But we're talking about veneers. So let's say, for example, that you have a syringe, but you have Trident, and then you have the 3M. Not going to have a problem. You're not going to have a light cure. When it's dual, when it's light cure, you're good to go. Good to go. Absolutely. All right, let me see what other questions we have here. Let's see. I think I've answered everything so far, and I think that we are done. It's been my pleasure. This is going to be recorded and it's going to be shared with everybody. Guys, and you know, I think the best, Archimedes, hold on. Melba, I think it's best to use bonding and siling in the kit to ensure they work best together. All right. That's an answer here from Carolyn. Everything comes in the kit, everything. So you don't need to think about mixing things. Would like, but it's always better to use it. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully you guys, I was able to clarify certain things. Hopefully you were able to gather some information that is going to help you in the future. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And hopefully I'll see you eventually. Have a great, I believe it's an afternoon, wherever you guys are. Right here is 2:30 in the afternoon, wherever you guys are. If you're ready to go to sleep, have a wonderful night. If you're ready to, it's early in the morning, have a wonderful day. You guys take care.